Welcome to another episode of Pursuit. We are continuing our study.
Yeah.
Continuing our study. I will be quite coffee this episode, so just beware.
What great timing.
So we're gonna be starting with a game of charades. We're gonna be acting things out.
Is this like VBS inspired?
I didn't pick it, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
She was there. Maybe it is.
I was. Oh, she was. Is this VBS? I don't think we did charades at VBS.
The first
did it,
night.
but I don't know if the little
The
kids
Tuesday?
did.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
we did. We did.
All right, so we're playing
That
charades.
was a very rough week. So
It was yeah, it was. All right. Should I go first? Should I let someone else go first?
You go first.
I'm really good at this game, so.
I don't even know how to play charades. So here we go.
So one person's gonna act out the things, the other people are gonna guess what it is.
Are we on like a team or every man for themselves? And what man?
I'm gonna say every person for themselves.
Okay.
Right? So as many as you get, that's how many points you get.
Okay.
All right. I might need space for this. I don't know. I'm still in frame. All right. Oh, it's heads up. It's not. So you guys have to do it.
Oh, it's not
Darts.
Yeah.
Fireworks. Geyser. Water sprinkler.
That, but like.
Can you talk in this?
No.
Oh.
How would you?
That's not fireworks?
Oh, like.
Fire. Making a fire. Campfire.
I'm not going on.
If I lose this round, swimming, walking, galloping. Can you see what they're doing with their hands?
Neither one of us is getting up for this.
If I lose this game because of the two of you, I skipped it already.
Oh.
Wheelchair.
You need to do more than that?
Skiing.
You were closer to wheelchair.
This is rigged.
Why didn't we just play heads up? Can we just turn it into heads up? I feel like that's going to be so much easier.
That was basically heads up.
Yeah, but neither one of us wants to get up to act out figure skating, which was the first one. That was us being like graceful on that.
Crutches?
That's what.
Okay, but you went like this.
That's rowing.
No,
No, like
if
a
you,
wheelchair?
No, I moved my foot though, because you move and.
Have you ever been in crutches?
No.
I have.
So that was
First
the
of all,
closest.
Or you
your crutches don't slide on the floor. You gotta pick it up.
No, but you're not picking them. You.
call
and
wheelchair
then
right now.
pull yourself
Actually.
forward. No, no,
Next one for you.
one at a time.
Yes, you do one at a time.
It depends. If you broke
it depends.
both feet, then no, you're in a wheelchair at that point. Never mind. Depends.
All right.
Whose turn is it? Your turn.
I'm gonna be so good at this game, and you guys are just put it on your forehead.
Should I even play?
Squats.
Yes.
Plane.
No.
Bird. Superman. Seeing something. Stars. Twinkle stars. Twinkling stars. Shooting star.
The first word.
Twinkle.
No. The
I
second
said,
word.
like,
Second word.
Stars.
Star.
Gazing. Playing a violin. Hopping.
No.
Frolicking.
No.
Skipping.
Yes.
Frolicking.
Golf.
Yes. Pass it. See how I just didn't even waste my time? Pass it.
Shuffling cards. Playing cards. Dealing cards. Shopping. Spray tan.
Yes.
Figure skating.
No.
Skateboarding.
Yes.
Needle shot.
Shot. Receiving
That's
shot.
not what I thought. And I was like, I'm not doing that on camera.
High five? What? Oh, okay. Peekaboo? How long is this? Jump rope?
Yes. Time's up.
Jumping jacks, I'm assuming?
You see how much better that round was, guys?
Not gonna lie, did not even look at Chrissy.
I know.
I barely did anything. So that was okay.
This is
So what was the ones that you...
hurdle and
Crafts?
crafts.
Wow. I got a lot. I got 11.
Yeah. I feel like I should get the points for that.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, that you... It should have been the other way around, but...
It's just a metaphor for my life. You know, I always give and I never get in return. You know? It doesn't come back to me, really.
Do I have to go this way?
Yep. Cleo! Let's pass it.
Yeah. It's
What?
wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Go the...
I told you I
Pass it
never
again.
played. So it's up?
Yes.
Okay.
Who are you looking at?
Both of y'all.
I mean, she got this one. That's it. Like that's
Model?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Pass it.
Masseuse?
What is the masseuse doing?
A massage?
Yes.
Rowing?
What are we
Paddling?
rowing?
What kind
In
of...
what?
In a boat? Canoeing?
No.
Oh, I was so... Okay. Kayaking?
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Wrong way.
Oh! The time's out.
Yeah.
What is that?
Time's up.
Figure skating?
No.
Oh.
Time's up.
It was snowboarding, because he was going down the mountain. I was actually going to push this and start doing tricks with time.
I think I won this game. We're not
I
even
got
good.
11, okay?
Because of me.
All right. So you get the assist.
If I gave you your little finger.
I would have gotten that in a heartbeat. Because we did the same thing without looking at each other.
Yeah,
Which
we
means-
was all up there. That was a fun game. You would think that if you didn't know us, would we be friends or enemies?
Someone practiced their transitions this week.
I was going to say that segment was a lot better.
Now, guys,
Enemies.
absolutely. I don't have any enemies, so I'll pray for you.
We got a whole bonus episode that says otherwise.
No, it doesn't say that they're enemies. It says that they're evil.
Big difference.
You know what? You're right. I apologize. You don't have any enemies. Surrounded by evil people.
Well, are we not called to go out into the world?
This world is full of sin.
So all the non-believers are just evil people? Is that what we're
No,
saying?
That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying. You said I'm surrounded by enemies, so.
Evil people.
Well, oh yeah.
Stop
evil
putting words in my
people.
mouth.
I'm just gonna remember what you said. Anyways, who was your first enemy? Let's start there.
Is that the actual real
My
question?
first enemy was 4th grade.
The whole
Maybe
grade?
3rd grade. No, a kid. I'm not gonna name him because I don't know where he is.
Whisper it.
What was his? Nope, nothing.
I realize if I whisper, your mics are gonna pick it up, so I can't do that. This is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I won't tell, I promise.
So yeah, 4th grade. Maybe 3rd grade. I can't remember, but yeah,
He was your enemy, or you were his enemy?
he was my enemy.
Oh, okay. What did
Yeah.
he do?
He was just mean to me. Maybe deserved, but doesn't matter. He
I
was
was
mean
gonna
to
say,
me.
what did you do to him?
We actually had a conversation about that at one point, and I forgot why. I just remember we had a conversation. He was
So
like,
you're
"Oh,
not enemies anymore?
I haven't seen him. I gotta it might be like an on-site kind of
You have
thing."
him on Instagram?
You know?
No.
Oh.
The last time I saw him was like 4th grade, so I don't remember his last name.
Wait, so who did you have the conversation with?
With him in 4th grade.
What was his name?
I already did not answer this question. You're not going to trick me into
Okay,
answering.
but you said you don't know his last name.
I don't know his last name, but I know his
So what's
first
his
name.
first name?
Lewis?
Oh, do you know how many Lewises there are in Queens, New York? So
I don't.
many.
I don't.
I had like 3
I have a
Lewises in
follow-up
every other
question,
class.
but I'm gonna ask that one off camera.
Just ask it. Go ahead.
No, because
Wow. Okay.
That looks-
I'm gonna just keep going.
that's what I said I was gonna do off camera.
Why would that matter?
Because I had a follow-up question after that. But anywho, who is your enemy? Do you
I
have
don't
any?
hold on to negativity like that.
So you can't remember your first enemy?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, my second question is, do you currently have any enemies? Start with you.
Probably.
Okay. What about you?
What else do you want from that question?
Enemies. I feel like enemies is a very strong word, so I'm gonna say no. I have people I may not like, but that doesn't mean they're an enemy.
Okay. In my notes, I said, as an adult, it's weird to say you have enemies for some of us. And for others, it's natural to say it. So I think it really depends on, like, your personality.
Oh, we're both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah? It's
That
usually
sounds about right.
your perspective. Could you be someone's enemy? Side eye.
I could probably be someone's enemy.
You could be. I know you probably are. Right? So,
I said I have enemies. I didn't say I am anyone's enemy.
Well, how
okay?
do you know how they see you?
it's perspective.
I have a knot.
first.
Do you see that?
And
Sorry, continue.
I mean, who are we to think we wouldn't have enemies here? Or who are we to be enemies when, you know, my favorite person that walked this earth, y'all know who it was?
Jesus.
Jesus himself, he had quite a few enemies during his time here.
Oh, so I'm Jesus. Like, okay, I like where this is going.
And he was so hated, but he was also so loved, which when you
Same.
really think about it, oh my goodness. Everyone, Kevin thinks he's like Jesus. And that's like pretty crazy that he was hated so much they chose Barabbas over him. And if you don't know who Barabbas is,
Read your Bible. No.
read your Bible, you know. Then he just got crucified to a cross.
We're not going to
because-
talk
we're not
about
No.
He was a murderer.
Right? Then
Short
he got
story.
crucified to the cross. And 2 things were in motion when the crucifixion was happening. There was a lot of hate and disgust on one end, but simultaneously, there was love. That's my perspective, right?
Okay.
There were so much people that just hated Jesus and would rather have a murderer on their hands than to have Jesus who didn't commit any crime when he was on earth. And during the crucifixion, Jesus, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when
I
he was
will.
on that
Sorry, you just keep setting yourself up for those. Come on.
when he was on that cross and he was bearing everyone's hate and hurt and all of that, I don't think, well, I know he didn't hate anyone there that was looking at him, that was crucifying him. It did hurt. He felt every pain, every like painful thing that they did to him. He felt all the emotions, but I don't think that like at once he was like, I hate y'all. Because when you think about when people hurt us now in this very day and age, someone doesn't have to like stab me. I'm not talking about that extreme, but when our feelings get hurt or someone says something you take it in a wrong way or vice versa, we're quick to say that person hates me, I hate them. Or you start to have strong feelings against someone. But I think while all of that was happening to Jesus on the cross, not once did he ever say like, yeah, I'm good. I hate y'all. Barabbas, come and take my spot. I think he did like say like, enough. I'm not gonna misquote him. What did he like?
On the cross?
He's like, Father, why have you
Yeah.
forsaken me?
He did like ask his dad like, why have you forsaken
His
me?
dad. I feel like that makes it sound so casual. Like he
It's a
looked down
casual
from the
setting.
cross to the people. He's like, Dad.
He asked God, and he was like, Why have you forsaken me? But even in that moment, he still didn't hate us. And honestly, that's just love. And I'm not here to give you the full Easter story. Tune
Clearly.
in back
Basically
around
did.
Easter. Well, that's why I didn't want to say who Barabbas was. But just let's dive into
Yeah, because
understanding
Barabbas
our
is the
enemies.
key to the Easter story, not Jesus on the cross.
I feel like I'm surrounded by enemies right now. As Christians, we tend to react either by complying or compromising, or just very aggressive when we're put in situations, or when we're talking to people who don't have our same values, right? Let's not even talk about Christianity for now. What's your favorite football team?
None. I'm not a football
Okay.
fan. I'm sorry, I'm not.
What's your favorite baseball team?
Mets.
Right? What's your favorite baseball team?
I don't really watch baseball, but I
All
grew
right.
up on the Yankees, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Yankees.
They're not
versus
having a
Mets.
very good season right now, but we're not gonna bring that up.
Right?
That's fine. The Mets never have a good season, so we never bring it up.
But you see what's happening here, right? Some nice banter, but you guys are making this so difficult. How they're laughing at each other about their different teams could turn into a really big argument. And
Oh, absolutely.
I know around when we're in that season of football or baseball or soccer or what's that one? Basketball, right? I don't like basketball, so I forgot. People really like go hard for their team. They'll paint their faces. They won't even go look at another team. They won't entertain talking about them.
You have like your game day outfit.
Yeah. And like, I forgot what I was going to say. Give me an example.
Okay.
Do you have a team where you are just a diehard fan for anything?
The Mets?
Okay, but are you a diehard fan?
Yes, I guess.
So have you got into conversations with people of an opposing team?
Yeah.
Arguments?
Mm-hmm.
Who was right?
Oh, they were, because the Mets suck. But I'm not going to admit that
But
in the
because
moment.
that's your favorite, you're
Yeah.
like, whether they're good or bad, this is
Yeah.
what I'm repping. All right, cool. What about you?
No.
Right? Let me just get all this.
I told you I don't follow sports.
But you said they were right. Why were they right?
The Mets lost that night,
Okay.
so it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue the Mets are the better team when they just lost.
But you did argue.
Yeah,
Why?
because the Mets are my team.
Even though you were wrong,
Yeah,
you couldn't just accept the defeat.
no.
Would you do that when you're sharing your faith?
Why would I be wrong? First off, Christianity is always right, so I'd never be in the wrong. It depends. Seriously, it would depend because I think also just with the nature of the conversation I was having when it comes to like the Mets, it was literally a conversation of the Mets versus the Yankees. I went to the Mets versus Yankee game at Yankee Stadium. They blew the game. They lost. The friend
Typical.
I went with, it is. Actually, no, it's not typical. Typically, they just
No.
lose the entire time. They don't get the chance to blow the game. But we're definitely not getting sponsored by the Mets. The friend I was with was a Yankee fan, and we were in Yankee Stadium. So it was like a whole thing, and then we had to like, I think I drove, so I had to like drop my friend home and all that, and just the whole car ride was me trying to defend the Mets. But I think because it's a friend, we're also kind of joking. When it comes to faith, I think it would be a little different. Again, depends on who the person is, but some of it might be me just kind of joking for the sake of joking, just make thing. But if it was a serious thing of like me and someone of a different faith, then I would take the conversation a little more serious. I wouldn't just be blind to like, no, well, like this, like, oh, she's like, no, the Bible's right, the Bible's right. Because even though I believe the Bible's right, if I'm talking to someone of an opposite faith, I would have to have, if I'm going to make the claim that this is truth, I'm going to need to have the evidence to back that up.
Mhm.
So I would be a little more careful because I feel like if there's something I know this is true, I don't know how to explain it because of the significance and the depth of conversation. In a conversation like that, I'd be like, hey, look, that's not what I believe, but I don't have a more concrete proof than, well, here's what the Bible says, here's what I've experienced. And I would have to see where that takes me in the conversation. Compared to like, I mean, you can pull up like historical fact that Jesus is a real person and things like that. But when it goes to like, well, how do you know Jesus is God? Well, now we're going into, well, this is what the Bible says and, things like that. So yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say?
I agree.
Okay. Luke 10, verses 3 says, now go and remember that I'm sending you out as lambs among wolves. So, who's the wolf? Did they have wolves back then? I don't know. Did they?
Gonna say yes.
They did? In that region? I mean, yeah, they did, right? Because he created
Pangea,
them, right? But like, anywho, horrible. Jesus is saying, if you really know a lamb, they could barely see, they're very sensitive, and he's sending you out into the world. So the world will be wolves. What do wolves do? They hunt, they kill, they destroy, just like the enemy, right? And that's what I had for Luke 10. Do I have?
Okay.
Well, he did say to go out into the world, right, with the wolves, but how are we going? Are we not prepared? That's why in Ephesians 6, verses 11 to 12, it says, basically put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. If you haven't figured out by now, your enemy is most likely the devil. But also, right?
I'm more concerned that she said most likely.
Most likely, right?
Which means there is a small chance there's someone else out there.
Yes, because I think, right? Hear me out.
Oh, I'm listening.
If I purposely do something to harm Kevin, right? Did the devil?
She looked at you first, though. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna harm Arrow. I'll harm Kevin.
Why would she
All
harm
right,
me?
all right.
Did the devil harm Kevin, or was it me?
Well,
it depends on where the motive is coming from, right?
Exactly.
So if the motive is like he got me upset,
so I pushed him down the stairs.
Did the devil harm Kevin? No, it was me. That was my action, my choices.
But do we want to go to where your anger is rooted? Where
right.
does that manifest
So
itself?
that would be from the devil. He uses people to infiltrate other people's lives. I wasn't trying to get there so fast.
Oh.
But since we're here.
Okay, keep going. Let's see where this goes. Or was that it? I'm sorry. Did Ariel like skip over your bullet points?
Cut that out.
But I mean, I also want to say the people that are persecuting you, right, when you're sharing your faith, that's of the devil.
I want to go back to the pushing me
when
down
I say
the.
that, like,
I want to go back to the pushing me down the stairs thing because why would you, as a believer, be so easily influenced by the devil?
I didn't even say I was going to push you down the stairs. That was from Ariel.
Well, she said you pushed me down the stairs, and I didn't see who pushed me. Someone snuck up behind me, so I'm gonna go on her word.
Well,
no, so the context was you got whoever upset, and then they pushed you down the stairs as a result.
In the moment, right? I do think that the devil does influence people's minds if you're not walking directly with God. You're not renewing your spirit and mind every day through worship or through just an intimate time with God, that you leave a little space open. The devil can come in and
make it bigger.
Warp your mind, make you do things that you don't want to do because you're under the influence. Right? Under the influence. What's this word? You're not possessed, but I hear them pray about it all the time. Like demonic
influence.
Not influence.
Oppression?
Oppression. Right? So I feel like you could be oppressed to do these things. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I don't know if it's that you're wrong. I'm just not like, I'm not sold on what you're saying,
Okay.
right? Because I get what you're trying to say. I don't know, something doesn't sit right with me about it.
That's probably true. This is
The
my third time trying to do this episode.
he oh, I'm not editing this out. Let's just have a conversation about it and let's figure it out. The okay, again, I do something to someone,
Mhm.
right? They retaliate,
Mhm.
right? I don't think that is necessarily the influence of the devil on either person's
It could just
thing.
be human emotion as well.
Right.
That was my first point.
All right. Well, I don't feel like she said that.
I
Or did I
said
miss?
that, and then we jumped.
Well, I brought up
Oh, okay,
that it
you-
could
okay.
be. Yeah.
All right. So so that's your fault for skipping some things then. All right.
I didn't skip anything. I didn't know that I was skipping.
So okay. So that's why I was a little thing, because I'm like, part of it is even with the example, right? If I do something, I may not know that what I'm doing is offending you either,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of times we take offense to things that we're not meant to be offended as an offense, right? That's how we receive whatever happened or interpret it, right? Now, when we retaliate or respond, right? If you push the person down the stairs or whatever, whatever it is, I think when it's a dispute between believers, I agree we should be careful to not give the devil a foothold in our lives or in our interactions. I'm a little hesitant just to jump to it was the devil.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
And this was the point I was trying to talk to someone today about. I was like, people are so quick to say, oh, the devil made me lose my job, or the devil did this, the devil did that at the same time, but the devil can't be everywhere at all times. And I think sometimes people use it so loosely that they're like, Satan just did this to me. Like we could be here and we're all blaming Satan on like 3 different things, but I do know he has his army. So I think he uses his army of demons to like go out and do his little mischief. But I think sometimes we use the devil as like a scapegoat for many of our flaws that we put ourselves in that situation. And it's like, no, he didn't do that. You did something. Your actions caused this. So I just wanted to like clear that up, that some of the time it's not the devil or his demons or his army working in a situation. It's just your choices. But your real enemy at the end of the day is the devil, right? It is. You just gotta figure out like if it was you or him. When you're sharing your faith, like let's take it from this perspective. And someone's opposing you and you're trying to share faith. We said in these previous episodes, you don't get angry, you don't shout. Some of us will try to battle it out, some of us won't. I personally, if I know better, you read the room, you use wisdom, I'm probably not gonna argue with you to get my point across. Because half of the time, if I'm trying to share my faith and you're putting up a fight, even if I get my point across, it was probably not even received. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you just need to understand that person's point of view to see why they think what they think. And I think understanding your enemy is a big portion of sharing your faith and just life.
Okay, so quick question, just for the viewers, right? When you're talking about sharing your faith and the enemy, are you saying that the unbeliever is the enemy?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not
okay, I
saying
just
that.
wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm glad you asked that. Nope. I'm not saying if you're an unbeliever, you're not the enemy. No, I'm not saying that.
But the enemy does come up within certain behaviors. So like the people that I guess would just automatically oppose the word in what you're saying and automatically come at it with like a fight. A lot of times it could be.
It could be.
Right? It's like one of those things where it's not a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those kind of situations.
And, you know, when you're in those situations, don't get fearful. Don't feel like what you're doing is wrong. You're not. Remember, you're wearing the God's armor, so the breastplate of righteousness. Can you drop all of them on the bottom so that people can see it? Thank you, right?
This is not like a request line. You just be like, hey, I want this. Like, oh,
We don't have an SFXT.
It's not how this works.
Allow God's Spirit to move your heart with the compassion for unbelievers who appear to hate you. When you're sharing your faith, right, and you're getting a lot of opposition,
Why don't you just hold that one?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sure, the headphones aren't even on.
Right. You know, I feel like I'm surrounded by enemies tonight. I felt like the devil was...
The devil's in the microphone.
The devil is really stopping me from...
You were too close. You were too close to the
I'm holding
truth.
it the correct way. The devil is stopping me from being great tonight. And, you know, it'd be like that sometimes.
This time it is not the consequences of your actions.
It's not. Like, I just don't understand. But you have to have a head change, right? So don't be fearful when... or shout back in anger when the enemy threatens you. Have a heart change. Allow God's Spirit to move your heart with compassion for unbelievers who appear to hate you, and even believers. So I think in this day and age, it doesn't matter if you're a believer or you're an unbeliever. People are going to hate you. Like what you were saying
I feel
earlier.
like it's easy to find something to hate or dislike about people.
Right. And then do a life change, right? So be a friend to those who are hostile towards you. So I try to be friends with like the people around me here, for the intent of saving their lives. But they're believers.
You realize I save your life more than you do mine?
Ariel does do that.
You've never saved my life once.
You think that.
Yeah, you're right. She didn't push me down the stairs, so I guess she saved my life.
I do want to point out that Jesus, you know, when I started this episode, I was talking about like his haters that didn't back off. And
Haters, back off.
what did Jesus do with like his enemies?
What did he do?
And when I say enemies now, I'm transitioning into sinners. What did he do? Do we know what he did?
He killed them with kindness.
That is one.
He was
What's
nice
the other
to
one?
them and showed them love.
He sat with them. He broke bread.
That's me
But-
breaking a loaf of bread.
Over your knee. How stale is this bread?
Communion
nice-
wafers that weren't stale, you know. He sat with the sinners and
It was
the
a
tax
baguette
collectors.
For the record, it was a baguette.
Oh, those are pretty hard.
Thank you.
When they're not fresh too. Oh my gosh.
Anyways, he
That
sat
could
with
be a
the sinners.
weapon. Hold on.
No
Let's
weapons
end this
formed
tangent.
against me shall prosper. You know what
Hallelujah.
I mean?
He didn't sit with the people because, you know, he was trying to be all inclusive. Right? I think sometimes people try to defend their sin or defend like the things that they do because it's like, well, Jesus sat with the sinners. Yeah, but there was a reason. It wasn't because he was saying, let me use my words wisely. Let me read my notes.
It's not because he was saying what you're doing is right.
Right.
Right?
He said, and if you read Mark chapter 2, verses 16, 17, I'm going to sum it up. He says, the way he defended his decision to sit with these sinners and tax collectors and all the people that, I don't want to say are outcasts, but people
But he
didn't
did
really associate
sit with outcasts as well.
Right. To defend, if you read Mark, he said, people who don't need a physician,
You don't take healthy people to the
people
doctor.
who are well don't need a physician, but sick people do. And so when he was sitting there, he sat with those sinners and tax collectors, not to be inclusive or to be tolerant of their sin, but to be accepting, right? And not accepting of their sin because like he was like, okay, you're gonna sin and I'm just gonna be like cool with you. That wasn't the point. He ate with them to call them to a changed life. So he had, I don't want to say agenda because that sounds like nefarious, right?
There was a method to the madness.
Yeah. There was a method to, I like that. To call them to this changed life, to die to themselves and to live for him. And his call then remains the same than today, to be a call of life of transformation and not an affirmation of sin. I butchered that.
What?
I butchered that.
It sounded correct.
Okay.
Okay, so instead of agenda, I would say he had a purpose.
Right.
I feel like that's the more
His purpose
churchy
wasn't
way to say it.
to accept their sin,
yeah.
but
And I think that's an important thing for all of us to recognize, especially in today's culture. Like for church, I've been playing with like using Chat GPT to like create like text stuff for the church, and one of the things when is I think this episode comes out, if I'm correct, this Friday from when this episode comes out, we're talking about sexual identity. So I was trying to come up with like a caption. Yeah, this one comes out Tuesday, I think. Yeah.
You said
So, yeah. No, Friday for Pursuit Live.
Oh.
We're talking about sexual identity. So I was trying to come up with like something for the caption. So all right, let's see what Chat GPT comes up with, right? And it was like, you have to create like a safe space for people to talk. I was like, okay, that's fine. And it's like, yeah, and then it's like you should really highlight like all the LGBTQ like Christian leaders. I was like, wait, how did we get here now? And I was like, okay, this obviously is just a computer just Googling stuff faster than I can. And I think that to that, again, we live in a culture where a lot of people have taken the Bible, taken what Jesus did out of context, and then try to use it to affirm their own sins or their own shortcomings, right? And said, well, Jesus was thing, or Jesus never talked about X, Y, and Z. So that means he was cool with it, which is such a horrible train of logic, right?
But also I feel like a lot of times when they reference that, it's like if you actually read a lot of the Bible, you would know that he did talk about it. He just didn't use the words that you're looking for.
Well, to that, I think yes and no. I think they're trying to make the point that when Jesus was on the earth, he never directly said it. It's gotcha. Technically,
like Jesus, in the red words, it didn't say.
That's the point they're trying to use, and I'm like, all right, but like,
the Bible is literally God's word,
which is the whole thing, right? Which is something else we can talk about later on, because there's a whole sect of people now that only believe in the 4 Gospels and they don't believe in anything else. So like all the writings of like Paul, like all the other church doctrine that we get, they don't believe in. They just believe in what Jesus said, and because he didn't address certain things, they're like, that's cool that we do this. But again, now going back to what you're saying, when Jesus sat down with sinners, by the way, when you were saying sinners, you said it with such disgust.
I looked at you when she did that.
I know. I thought you were gonna say something.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
But yeah, you gotta
work
just
on that.
Just tone it down a little bit on the sinners. They're not the enemy. They're not the enemy.
They're not. But I feel like the enemy's working on this stage tonight.
What? I had to fish it out.
So, to that, right? I think that when we look at the example that Jesus lays out for us, a lot of the times his purpose in sitting down with people, as you were saying, was not affirmation but transformation. Yeah, you said it right. I don't know what I think. But yeah, I think that's just so important for us to like really reinforce because too many people look at what Jesus did as affirmation and not transformation, right? When you look at the Great Commission, it's not go into all the world and affirm people. It's go into all the world and make disciples, right? Baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son. Well, I feel like I misquoted that really badly, but the point is go make disciples,
Crucify
right?
him.
And even something that I thought was really interesting that I heard the other day was that even in the Great Commission, right, going back to Jesus sitting with people, it wasn't to bring them to salvation. It was discipleship, right? It was to not just a momentary encounter with Jesus, but a lifelong experience with Jesus. And I think a lot of us, when it comes to sharing our faith, when it comes to these encounters that we have with sinners, we are so caught up in salvation that we miss transformation.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop there.
Cool. Sure.
I can keep going on that. That's why I have to
Just
pause
end
for a
this.
second.
End this. Take it away.
We're done. No.
No, I mean like you had a really good lead there.
I mean, there's other things we can go into, but I wasn't sure if you had more things to talk about.
No, that was the ending.
Okay. At this point, I forgot what I was talking about.
I literally can't remember. So
I missed the first word that you said. We're so caught up in blank that we missed the transformation.
that
We're
people
so
are
caught up in salvation.
Salvation.
That they
Yeah.
forget
Wow,
to,
how
like-
could I forget about salvation?
Wow.
How could you?
How could I? Crucify me.
You sinned.
For we have all sinned and fall short. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you're right, but like, yeah, no, I think that's a good place to end it because I think we all forgot what we were trying to say. So, yeah, I think that's it for tonight, guys.
I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
I didn't.
We'll be back next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the bonus episode.
Understand your enemies before you yell and shout.
Yeah. And Chrissy's family, don't
You're
stop
not the
inviting her
enemy.
out.
You didn't even need to bring that up.
I know, right?
That was a whole different week.
It's last week.
Oh, as in
Comment
not
below,
this
who
one.
do you think is my enemy here tonight?
The devil?
That is true. But among me.
I haven't played Among Us in so long. We should do that.
I've never played.
All right, guys,
Anyway.
we're gone. We'll see you guys later for this. It's really sidetracked.